November 2020, Sigrid Demyttenaar, a Belgian curator, contacted me and asked me if I was interested in participating in a group exhibition in Lille in northern France. It was organized by this Lille 3000 organization. They had been organizing every 2 or 3 years a big art festival in Lille. It's a half-year festival with a lot of events and happenings. And the organization was at that time also looking for the main artist for the really big street called Rue Faidherbe, or they call it Rambla, to make some big installation on that street. It's one of the main roads in Lille. It's the road that starts from the main train station. And told me that, could you please make 10 4.5 meter sculptures for this road. You have time 1 year. Because the name of the festival was Utopia, so my idea was that there would be like a group of utopian Nordic Moss kids or society from Finland would have traveled to Lille, and each person in the group would have a purpose, and all these purposes would be equally important. So there would be one would be a doctor, one would be a philosopher, one would be a harvester or gatherer, so on and so forth. As they were sculptures, so what would the hands do and so on. Each of the figures were showing their purpose in sign language, and so the hands were signing. And so I gave Lille 3000 this idea, and they liked it. And so in the summer of 2021 I made 10 models for the sculptures from ceramics, and I flocked them and I put the accessories on them that I wanted them to have. So that took me 3 months to make, and then these models were shipped to Lille. The studio that manufactured the figures, called Atelier Saint-Roch, they had done before also these kind of figures. They knew how to do it. How it's done is that the models were 3D scanned, and then the figures were carved in the right size from styrofoam, and then they would put this kind of metal armature inside the styrofoam, and then they would coat the styrofoam with the fiberglass to make them durable, and that fiberglass would be then coated with flocking, like I do. And so yes, that's how they were done, and they were produced, and that was pretty amazing. It was a really big project, and of course I was in the beginning, before all these sculptures were produced, I was obviously very nervous, because they were going to come on a street that is this sculpture would be so visible, and actually there was like close to 2 million people visited Rambla, the street. So that's a big audience, and then when you have 10 of these 5 meter sculptures that nobody can miss there, so it was like I felt a lot of pressure. So the first time I went to see them, and then I saw the sculptures when it was finished, and I was like, wow, they managed so well to do them. You feel kind of a weight fell off your shoulder, and they were really overwhelming when you had these 10 of these massive sculptures in the street, and they were on a 2.5 meter pedestal, so they became very big and incredible. And I realized I will never be able to do maybe this anymore in this size. So it also was a bit of a sad thing, because I realized that this amazing project doesn't necessarily happen again. But I was of course very happy with the final product and the finish that they put on them. And I was very amazed by how good the city helped out in everything, and how easily everything happened. So that was a really amazing experience to see that you value culture this much, that you put all this effort into that.
And I was of course wondering what will happen eventually with these giants after they've been there in the streets of Lille. But, Kai Kartio went to visit the Utopia Festival and saw the giants, and he suddenly got this great idea to have some of them to come back to Finland and to have the 4 of those giants move to Söderlångvik, to a forest. So it was kind of a perfect thing to have the circle being closed. When I got back to Finland after the project, I decided that I'm going to try to do some giants by myself. When I had been working with Lille 3000 on the giants, I learned a new sculpting technique, how to make the giants without using molds, and it was quite successful. Anyways, here, yes, and now I'm surrounded here by the 4th giant. It's going to come to my Gallery Forskull exhibition. Then when Amos Rex and Kai Kartio got interested in buying some giants for Amos Rex, then we together decided which ones we would choose would be good. So we chose Traveler, we chose Lightbringer, we chose Collector, and then we chose Friendship. And we thought that those would work really well together in Amos Rex courtyard. So the giants are very large and a little bit fragile. Of course, they have a very heavy-duty steel structure inside of them, so they are quite durable. But still, there is a lot of detail. So how would those be shipped to Finland? So they made in the workshop at Saint Roch. They made these really beautiful cages for the sculptures that they would be kind of attached to with like as a kebab, like with a steel tube going through them, the sculptures, and holding them like hanging there in that cage. And they had wheels on them, the cages, so it was easy to move them and then put on a truck, and then they were shipped to Finland. And then they were temporarily stored in Vuosaari. So when the sculptures arrived, the giants arrived in Vuosaari, I went to check on them, and it was very interesting and very exciting to see them. They had been cleaned and then put a new coat of paint on them. And so we went together with Mia from Amos Rex and Kai to check them out. I was a bit worried about how they would look, what they had done to the surface, as they had to wash them and they had to repaint them. So would they have the same feeling as the original ones, the original coating? I was very happily surprised at the level of the finish on the sculptures, and they had used some very nice paint. So first the giants were coming to Amos Rex. Of course, we had to think about where they would be positioned there. Obviously, the natural place was then this Amos Rex Square with the beautiful mosaic hills. So we decided to put this Lightbringer a little bit to the side, and then the sitting one is to call Friendship in the hills, in a very nice place. Here is also in between the hills. And then my maybe favorite of all these 4 giants is the Harvest sculpture, and that's going to be on the balcony looking over Mannerheim Road. So when the giants were installed in Amos Rex courtyard, actually at the same day on Monday when the first ones were going to be installed, I was in Fiskars packing my sculptures for my show that was going to happen in Gallery Forskull. It was a coincidence that they both happened at the same time. So I didn't see the installation of the first giant. I was very worried how it would look like, but it seemed that they managed to install it in the rain. It took them quite some time to find out the right way to do it, but they managed to do it, and the weather was very bad. Of course, I hadn't seen that giant on the square, so I was very anxious to see it. And I jumped in the truck that drove my sculptures to Gallery Forskull, and by coincidence, the truck actually drove past the first giant. And when I saw it, I became very happy because it worked so well, looked so nice there in that square. So I went to to the gallery, and after that I managed to quite fast soon, because I was gonna install the works in the show the next day. I managed to go and see when the friendship sculpture was gonna be installed. It was a bit easier to install that because it's a sitting sculpture, but it had also big problems because it had to be squeezed through the tower and one of the hills, because the crane couldn't, the truck couldn't drive closer to the spot where it was going to be installed. So we got some really great pictures from the sculpture flying in the air between the hill and the tower. That installation went quite smoothly, actually. We had some problems in putting the bolts on in the right places, but otherwise it went really smooth. On Monday it was raining, the weather wasn't the best possible for installing sculptures outside. Then on Tuesday morning the weather got even worse. Suddenly it was the end of April, but it started to snow in Helsinki. Of course it was a bad thing for the people installing the sculptures. It was the heaviest snow at that time of the year, or was it 50 years in Helsinki. That day when they were going to install the two other sculptures. But for me, I thought it was kind of poetic that it started to snow, because we were going to install the Traveller and the Gatherer. So I thought that maybe Helsinki kind of invited the sculptures. Welcome to Helsinki, to your natural habitat, to the snowy Finland. And even though the weather was bad, it was snowing, everything went really smooth. We just had to melt the snow off the metal sheets, and no other problems occurred. So Kai came for an hour in the morning when we were installing harvester on top of Amos Rex, and it was a very, very exciting moment to be there with the curator and see the thing getting up there. We didn't really talk that much. We were just admiring the work and seeing the sculpture flying in the air. But it was a very exciting moment, I guess, for both of us to see them landing in the place that we had planned for so long. So when the Traveller was going to be installed, I was actually at Gallery Forsblom installing my show, but then I managed to come there when it was almost put on place, the sculpture. But I saw part of that installation. It looked really, really nice with the snow, the skier especially, and also the friendship. So it was kind of perfect, because I don't think there will be snow in that Amos Rex during the time they will be displayed there. It was amazing to see. So Amos Rex is a very interesting architectural place. The museum is in a cave underground, and on top of the building there is this beautiful hills that they have built. Of course, it was a bit stressful for me to think that what will happen when my bright green giant sculptures will arrive in this beautiful surrounding. But it turned out that they worked very well there. Actually, they kind of feel like they were meant to be. Then in this utopian group, they had all like purposes. And the light bringer is the person who shines lights on things that you can see them if it's dark. But to me, the figure is also kind of a person who tells what is right, what is wrong, in a way, in the group. He's kind of a judge in the group. So the friendship sculpture is the one that is in the group, the person connected with nature. The Traveller has the skis on her back, and it's because they come from Finland, so in the winter time that's the best way to move in the snow. The traveler is a figure who also goes beforehand and scouts the terrain, what is the easiest way to travel to Lille and back to Finland. So maybe the gatherer is one of the most logical figures in the group, because we have the hunter-gatherers always had in our society, so this is a very important job. It collects all the things that the group needs to eat and to build things from. Also the medicines and all that, so it's a very important figure in the group. So after the exhibition ends at Amos Rex courtyard, the giants will move back home to a small forest next to the Söderlångvik gorge in Kemiö Island. There they will also get a new dimension. As in the fairy tale of the giants, they are not talking, because they live in the forest, they have to be quiet there. So they only sing or use their mouth to make sound in the morning when the sun goes up. That's when they start the day by singing a small song as a choir. And then at sunset, they will also sing together a lullaby before they go to sleep.